Welcome to this Explainer Masterclass on a massive paradigm shift happening right now in financial technology. Specifically, we're going to dive deep into generative artificial intelligence for requirements gathering. We are literally witnessing a complete, ground-up evolution of product management. It's being driven by three things: digital-first fintechs, the explosive integration of generative artificial intelligence, and the adoption of Agile 2.0 frameworks. So, if you want to understand exactly how the most successful financial products are being built today, you are absolutely in the right place. Let's get into it. Here is our quick roadmap for today. 1. Legacy banking versus fintech. 2. Product manager versus owner. 3. The fintech PM reality. 4. Product-led growth strategies. 5. AI and Agile 2.0. And finally, 6. The future product leader. Section 1, Legacy Banking versus Fintech, the macro shift.
Now, you've probably wondered at some point why traditional banks, institutions with massive capital, sprawling resources, and decades of market dominance, why do they find it so incredibly difficult to match the blistering pace of fintech innovation? Like, why does a simple app update at a major bank take months while a challenger neobank is shipping new features every single day?
Well, the answer actually lies right here in their foundation. At their core, a lot of these incumbent banks are running on legacy mainframe technology that was developed over 40 years ago. Think about that. These systems were originally designed as just digitized ledgers, but over the decades, they've been patched, updated, and kind of just stretched to accommodate complex modern use cases that they were simply never built to support. It creates this rigid, fragile environment where making even a tiny, minor change is just incredibly risky and super expensive. And this table right here brilliantly illustrates that divide. Thanks to modern cloud-native architectures, fintechs are out here releasing updates tens of times a day. Traditional banks, honestly, they're thrilled if they can manage just one release a month. And look at the economics. It costs a legacy bank roughly £150 to manage a customer, whereas a fintech can do the exact same thing for about £20. Fintechs can open accounts in minutes, while traditional banks often still require you to physically visit a branch or go through these super extended compliance checks. All right, moving to Section 2, Product Manager versus Owner, defining the roles. So this macro shift in technology fundamentally changes how we actually build software. And the most crucial point here is understanding the division of labor between the people steering the ship. Your product manager is essentially the strategist. They own the what and the why. They're the ones setting the vision, conducting the market research, and making sure everything aligns with the overarching business goals. Your product owner, on the other hand, is the tactician. They own the how and the when. They are embedded right there with the engineering teams, managing the backlog and turning that grand vision into actual deliverable sprint tasks. Look, confusing these two roles is a fast track to a completely stalled roadmap. Section 3, the FinTech PM reality, the harsh truth. But what does a PM actually do in a highly regulated FinTech environment? Well, this is a harsh truth for anyone transitioning from standard move fast and break things tech startups. In FinTech, if you do not understand hold states, compliance triggers, and general ledger impacts, you will sail. Is that simple? The quote here really hits the nail on the head. You aren't just optimizing a slick user journey, you are stewarding highly regulated financial rails. Your real KPI isn't just user obsession, it's failure containment. Real quick, before we move on to where the absolute biggest hiring boom in fintech is actually happening right now, if you're getting value out of this explainer, please take a quick second to hit the like and subscribe buttons. It really helps us keep bringing you these deep dive masterclasses. Okay, check this out. You might assume that everyone is hiring for those flashy consumer-facing neobank apps, right? Actually, no. 62% of open roles are sitting right in back-end B2B infrastructure. We're talking payments orchestration, know your customer tooling, anti-money laundering, and reconciliation engines. That is the true engine room of modern finance, and honestly, it's where the most complex and strategic product work is happening today. Section 4, Product-led growth strategies, the new paradigm. To scale effectively in this kind of environment, the industry is heavily adopting a model where the software basically sells itself. Instead of relying on massive marketing budgets and high-touch manual sales teams, the product is literally engineered to deliver immediate, self-evident value. Think of a company like Stripe. A developer can just jump in, look at the API, and start testing it out immediately without ever having to speak to a sales rep. That is product-led growth in action. The anatomy of this strategy is a really elegant, seamless 4-step funnel. by ruthlessly removing friction during onboarding and drastically reducing the time to value, meaning getting the user to that aha moment as fast as possible where they realize how great the tool is. Users naturally experience the product's benefits, and at that point, they organically become what we call product qualified leads, or PQLs. They've already proven they find value because they're actually using it, making them highly likely to convert to paying customers on their own. Section 5, AI and Agile 2.0, the next evolution. Now, to support this incredibly rapid product-led discovery, the delivery frameworks themselves are evolving, and this is where things get really wild. By integrating generative artificial intelligence into Agile 2.0, teams are experiencing a massive, fundamental shift in requirements gathering. Let's look at how this works in practice. Today, product owners are actively using tools like Google Gemini to automatically draft incredibly complex user stories and robust acceptance criteria in literally a matter of seconds. Think about what this means for a second. It effectively shifts the product owner's role completely away from those tedious, endless hours of manual backlog grooming and elevates them into a highly strategic space of augmented discovery. You are no longer just a ticket writer, you are an editor of AI-generated logic. Furthermore, we're seeing the explosion of something called vibe coding. This is where teams use generative artificial intelligence to rapidly translate plain English requirements directly into high-fidelity proofs of concept. You can literally take an abstract idea to a working, testable prototype in minutes instead of months. It's a total game changer. But hold on, with all this speed generated by AI, you absolutely need control. Alongside generative artificial intelligence, frameworks like lean portfolio management, or LPM, are becoming absolutely critical. LPM ensures that these highly accelerated AI-empowered teams are actually executing on the strategic priorities of the business, rather than just building random features at lightning speed. It perfectly bridges the gap between the boardroom strategy and the developer's keyboard. Which brings us to our final section, Section 6, the future product leader, outcomes over features. So in a world where generative artificial intelligence can help you code and ship faster than at any point in human history, a terrifying new danger actually emerges. We call it building the wrong product fast syndrome. The stakes have literally never been higher. Because execution is practically being commoditized by AI, the product owner must step up to become the ultimate, unyielding final authority on the why. Success in this new era is no longer measured by how many features you shipped or maximizing your agile velocity. Generative artificial intelligence can maximize velocity for you. Future success metrics are entirely about continuous product discovery, rigorously validating your hypotheses before a single line of production code is even written, and driving tangible business outcomes like actual adoption and revenue. So I'm going to leave you with this final provocative thought. Speed is entirely meaningless without direction. As generative artificial intelligence completely removes the traditional bottlenecks of software development, the true value of a product manager or product owner isn't in their ability to write tickets anymore. It's in their ability to know exactly which tickets are actually worth writing. How will you use these incredible new tools to build what truly matters? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope this masterclass into FinTech, Agile 2.0, and generative artificial intelligence has given you a powerful new perspective on the future of product. Don't forget to like and subscribe to keep empowering yourself with this kind of structured knowledge, and I will see you in the next one.